So, today, we're going to be taking a closer look at the new bolt-action rifle coming to Battlefield 1 in the They Shall Not Pass DLC. That's the Lebel Model 1886. Now, I think it's a weapon that we all expected from the DLC that includes the French army, but it's got a few interesting attributes that set it apart from the other bolt-action rifles in the game. Of course, this footage is taken from the Battlefield 1 CTE, so some of its stats could change before the final release, but for all intents and purposes, this is what the weapon will be like when premium members and buyers of the DLC get their hands on it in March. First of all then, a brief overview. There will be two variants of this rifle coming to Battlefield 1. First of all, the sniper, and that's what you'll see me using most here in this video, and also an infantry variant as well, so no optic or bipod, just the bolt action rifle on its own. Now, we'll get on later in the video to explaining the benefits and the drawbacks of both of these variants, but I do think that both are good choices in their own way. Personally, I've gravitated towards the sniper simply because the map on the CTE right now, Soissons, has a large expanse of open space, there's lots of tricky steep terrain, and long lines of sight, and that's just perfect for a high-powered optic bolt-action sniper rifle. The infantry variant is really more for those tighter, close-quarter situations, and Soissons doesn't really feature many of those areas, or at least the action doesn't revolve around those areas all that much. All of the DLC weapons coming with They Shall Not Pass are accessed via unlock assignments. Now, for anyone who's played Battlefield 4, you'll be very familiar with this situation. You'll need to use different weapons and gadgets that you've already unlocked in the base game to complete those assignments, and then the DLC weapon is unlocked without you having to pay war bonds for it. So if you haven't got any war bonds left, don't worry, you won't need any to unlock these weapons, unless you haven't got the base game weapons unlocked yet, but you should still be getting war bonds every time you rank up. To unlock the infantry variant, you'll need to net 50 kills with the Gewehr M95 infantry rifle. That will take you a few rounds, and you also need to get 20 spot assists with the flare gun. Now, for the sniper variant, you need 5 headshots with the Russian 1895 sniper rifle in one round, and also 10 spot assists using the periscope gadget. Those spot assists don't need to be done in one round. All of your progression is tracked passively in the Customize menu now, so it's very easy for you to see your progress, and it's tracked above the minimap in the game as well. It'll pop up for you when you make progression towards those requirements. DICE listened. More visible tracking of progress is what we asked for, and that's exactly what we're getting with this DLC. So, onto the rifle then. What's it like? Well, I'd call it an intermediate rifle. It's a weapon that offers pretty much a compromise on all of the statistics of the Scout class, and then bundles them into one sweet-sounding package. The sound, by the way, is very, very nice. It sounds like a sledgehammer landing on a tree trunk. It's a really dull thud, and it's really bassy. Really cool when you get a headshot and you get the ding sound, but before it, you've got like a really low rumble that comes from the gun. It is a really cool sound. Arguably, its best attribute, though, is the magazine size. 8 rounds in an internal magazine loaded through the receiver at the top of the weapon. This sits in the middle between some of the more long-range precision rifles like the Gewehr 98 and the closer-range aggressive rifles like the SMLE. The downside to having more rounds to fire, though, with the Lebel is its reload time. The Lebel can only be reloaded 1 round at a time through the receiver, and then the final round has like this double lock-in system which takes even longer. Usually there's an ideal time to reload a rifle in Battlefield 1, like the SMLE for example. Reload it after using 5 rounds and it's simply a 1-clip reload to bump you back up to 10 rounds. Or the Gewehr 98, it's best to wait till the end of the clip and get all 5 rounds back in rather than waiting for each individual bullet to be rechambered. With the Lebel, there's pretty much no right time to reload it, because it just takes so damn long every single time. The Lebel sweet spot sits at a good, preferable range overall, I'd say. It starts at 50 meters, doing 100 damage to the upper torso, and that extends out to 87.5 meters, and then drops off again. A lot of the engagements that you have in the game will happen in that 50 to 90 meter range overall. You will get some shorter and you will get some longer for sure, but when you're playing as a scout, you're always looking for slightly longer range targets, and 50 to 90 meters isn't all that far away. You'll be coming up against medic and support players, and as long as you're accurate, you should have no issue taking those people down. Its hipfire accuracy isn't too bad either, so getting some quick shots off up close, you might find yourself coming out on top. However, in the CTE right now, it looks like lots of the weapons have had their hipfire tightened, and I don't know if that's necessarily what the developers intended. So in the CTE, it's very good at hipfire, but in the main game, it might be changed to something a little bit wider. The rate of fire of the Lebel is very good as well, 56 rounds a minute. That means follow-up shots should be fairly quick overall, but if you're using the sniper variant, remember that as soon as you fired your first shot, people will be looking for you. You've got a high-powered scope on that rifle, and that means you will be giving off scope glint, and that makes you very easy to spot. Keep on the move with the Lebel sniper, and you should be okay. Overall, I'd say the Lebel is a great rifle for someone who's looking for something with a lot of power at medium range. It isn't the most aggressive rifle in the game by any stretch, but I think it falls nicely into that gap between the more mobile rifles and the heavier, long-range hitters. It's comparable to the SMLE and the Russian 1895, but it's got its own quirks that you'll need to be aware of. If I could suggest a change, it would be to add a third variant, the Marksman. Having something with a 4x optic there would suit its sweet spot almost perfectly, but perhaps DICE have deliberately not added that for fear of the rifle being almost too powerful at that range. So there you go, that's the Lebel rifle. I think it's good. You might think it's bad. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Have you played with it? Are you on the CTE trying out this new stuff? Or are you trying to stay away from it so that you don't get too spoiled? I'll be back with more They Shall Not Pass coverage tomorrow and over the weekend. The rumour is DICE are going to switch up the map soon, so we can test out another one coming in the DLC. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope the map is Verdun Heights. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. That's the one with the forest fire. It looks really, really interesting. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.